وشفيعنا ونور قلوبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. نوينا التعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير ونفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. We are continuing with our text. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Min kitab Safinah al-Najah lil al-alama al-faqih Sayyid Ahmad bin Umar al-Shatiri. Nafa'ana Allah bi'alumi fid darin. So this is actually an additional part. It's not in the original book, but it's part in the English book. Right? So we just read through it. So he says here, note, Sunan Rawatib, the Sunan of prayer before and after the Fardu prayer. So it's called Rawatib. So when you say Sunan Rawatib, that means before and after the prayer. So the optimal numbers for these are 2 before Subuh, 4 before Zuhur and after Zuhur. So Zuhur altogether 4 and then plus 4 Zuhur plus 4 after, you get 12. Right? So altogether for Zuhur, 12 sunnahs. 12 rakats lah. So not sunnahs, 12 rakats. 4 sunnah, 4 wajib and then 4 sunnah again. Right? These are all the maximum numbers. We're not talking about mu'akkadah yet. Mu'akkadah is at the bottom here. Right? So and for Asr, right, 4 rakats before Asr, it is said in a hadith that whosoever is consistent on praying 4 rak'ats before Asr, then his hair and his skin is haram for the fire of hell to touch. Now his hair and his skin becomes haram, forbidden for the fire of hell to touch. Right? Those who are consistent on 4 rak'ats before Asr. MashaAllah. So to apply them lah, to pray as much as you can. And MashaAllah, when we learn about the Sunnah Rawatib, the sunnah is that for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would do these. He would never miss these when he is in his hometown in Medina. Only when he's traveling, right, then he might lessen the number of rak'ats to just the mu'akkadah. Right? So the mu'akkadah is what he would do whether he was in his hometown or whether he was traveling. Right? MashaAllah. And then the maximum number is his norm. His norm is that he'll pray the maximum number, 2 before Subuh, 4 before Zuhur, 4 after Zuhur, 4 before Asar, 2 after Maghrib, and then 2 after Isha. Right? There is also a 2 before Maghrib and a 2 before Isha, following from a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "Baina kulli adhanain rak'atain liman sha', or rak'atan liman salatun liman sha'. Baina kulli adhanain salatun liman sha'." Which is, the hadith means between the azan and the iqamah, there is a prayer for whosoever wants to pray. Right? So for any prayer, whether it's Maghrib or Isha or any prayer, between the azan and the iqamah, there is a prayer, a 2 rakats prayer for anybody who wants to pray. So there is a sunnah qabliyah that they will say it is for every prayer because of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But of course, what is emphasized to be 2 rakats after Maghrib and 2 rakats after Isha. The sunnah mu'akkadah, emphasized sunnah, they consist of 10. And they're called mu'akkadah because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never left them, whether he was in his hometown or whether he was traveling. He never left the sunnah mu'akkadah. MashaAllah. May Allah give us tawfiq, may Allah give us ability to do more of the sunnahs. So if you've been doing the sunnah mu'akkadah for the past few years, or if you've not been implementing sunnah mu'akkadah, if you've just been doing the wajib prayers, then maybe right now want to add on some sunnah mu'akkadah. And if you've been doing sunnah mu'akkadah all the while, then maybe now is a good time to add on a bit more of the sunnahs that is non-mu'akkadah, is to add on, subhanallah. And the more you do, the more for you, inshallah, on the day of judgment. It is recommended to pray 2 rak'ahs before Maghrib Salat. The sunnah of Jum'ah are the same for Zuhur prayer, right? So for Jum'ah, if a man is going for Jum'ah or a woman is going for Jum'ah, and then the sunnah is the same, 4 before, 4 after. Even though the Jum'ah prayer itself is 2 rak'ahs, right? Inshallah. Okay. Okay, so I hope there are no questions about that. If a person, this is a mention, if a person is used, or is his habit, it's his norm to pray certain sunnahs, and let's say something happens on a particular day that he was unable to pray these sunnahs, then it is recommended for him to make it up at another time. You can qada sunnahs, and you can qada sunnahs. Right, so like for example, if someone usually prays 4 rak'ahs after Zuhur, right? So maybe she prayed Zuhur and she has to go off immediately because she's a flight to catch, for example. She has to go off immediately after she prays Zuhur and go and catch a flight. So by the time she is rested or settled or whatsoever in another country, right, it's already another prayer timing. Right? So what can she do? She can actually do a qada of her sunnah zuhurs, because she's used to doing it. She always does it, and she always does the sunnah zuhur, so she can actually go and qada the sunnah zuhur. Similarly, like if someone were to pray Isha, then they're very tired, they fell asleep, and then when they wake up in the middle of the night, but they still can pray qada because it's still night, right? You can still pray sunnah Isha, you can still pray witr. But if let's say someone woke up in the morning, it's already subuh time, right, and then they realize they didn't pray the sunnah Isha last night, and they usually do pray the sunnah Isha, they can just do the sunnah Isha before they pray subuh, if there is time lah. If there is time. Okay, witr prayer, the final prayer in the night. The best time for witr is after the sunnah of Isha, unless one intends to do tahajjud prayer in the middle of the night. Witr is a minimum of 1 rak'at, and the optimum number of rak'ats are 11. 11 rak'ats for witr. Which is why the scholars say that because witr is a sunnah mu'akkadah, witr is an emphasized sunnah, that if you're going to pray any sunnahs in the night, you might as well intend with it primarily witr, and then you can add on another intention to the witr, right? So like for example, if you have a habit of praying 8 rak'ats in the night, for example, have a habit of praying 8 rak'ats in the night, right? So if you're going to pray, like for example, tawbat, and you're going to pray hajat, then you're going to pray shukr, you're going to pray istikhara, whatever you're going to pray, always intend witr first, then you intend the other one. Why? Because witr is mu'akkadah. Witr is emphasized. So you intend witr, and together with the witr, you intend tawbah. You intend witr, together with the witr, you intend hajah. That's how you because witr maximum 11. So you might as well do the 11 since you're going to do 8 anyway, and you're going to do 3 after that, it's going to be 11. So you might as well do the 11, right? MashaAllah. So you put in the intention of witr into your sunnah prayers. So 3 rak'ahs is the minimal optimal number, and 1 is makruh. It is to pray one all the time is makruh. So you should do the minimum optimum of 3. Because of another mazhab that says that there's no such thing as a 1 rak'at prayer. So because of the other mazhab, I think it was the Hanafi mazhab, that says that that the Shafi'i will say, okay, don't do 1 all the time, do 3, at least do 3, right? Out of respect for the other opinion that there's no such thing as a 1 rak'at prayer. So you pray 2 rak'ats, and then you pray 1 by itself. So 2, and you salams, then you pray 1 by itself. And you recite the sunnah of Rasulullah to recite in the first 2. The first raka'at is Surah A'la, and then the second one is Kafirun. And for the last raka'at of witr, to recite Ikhlas, Falaq, and Nas in the last raka'at of witr. Okay, if a person wants to pray, you see, there's a hadith that whosoever prays witr, then they are fi mardatillah. Whoever prays witr, then they are in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are in the contentment and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the scholars say, okay, in that case, right, if I pray witr in the beginning of the night, that means after I pray my Isha, I pray my sunnah Isha, and then I pray witr, right, in the beginning of the night, and then I am in Allah's pleasure through the night. If I don't pray my witr yet, and I delay my witr to the end of the night, meaning before subuh, I mean, you wake up at the Hajj and you're going to pray witr. So they will say, but I have not prayed witr, so I'm not in Allah's pleasure from the beginning of the night. And that's what they're saying, right? When you eventually intend to pray witr anyway, and usually you do pray witr, the scholars say, they want to get Allah's pleasure from the beginning of the night. At the same time, there is a sunnah that the last prayer you are to pray for the night should be witr. So how do we do this? How do we pray witr at the beginning of the night and also pray witr at the end of the night? So they say very easy. At the beginning of the night, you pray with the 3 rak'ats, for example, 3 rak'ats, and then so you have done your witr. So you're in Allah's pleasure through the night. So when you wake up in the middle of the night to pray tahajjud, so when you get up, you pray tahajjud, there are a few things you can do right now. Since you've already done your witr, there are a few things you can do. The first thing is that you can pray 1 more rak'at and make your make your odd rak'ats now even. You pray 1 more, and so now your odd rak'at that you did early in the night became even. And then you pray what you're going to pray, and then you end off by praying 3 more witr at the end. Right? So now you have ended your prayer with your night prayers with an odd number. Okay, that is one way. Right? Another way is that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you pray as usual, your 2 rak'ats, whatever you want to pray. Then at the end of your prayers, you pray a 1 rak'at witr, but you intend this witr to be a qada witr of a previous witr in your life that you did not perform. And we have plenty of witrs in our life we have not performed, right? Since puberty, right? So in our secondary school days, our primary school days, whenever we reach puberty, there are plenty of witrs you didn't perform, right? So you can always intend the last 1 rak'at to be a qada witr of a previous witr last time, a long time ago. Okay, so that's basically, witr is only achieved when you actually do the odd number. And for as long as you have not done the odd number, you have not achieved witr. You need to actually do the odd number, that 1 rak'at. If you do 2 rak'ats in the beginning of the night without the 1 rak'at, you have not done witr. You only counted to have done witr if you actually have done that 1 odd number. Now, okay. Okay, tamam. Tarawih. Tarawih prayer is a sunnah prayer to perform. It's to perform tarawih, which is 20 rak'ats of group prayer each night in Ramadan. And mashallah, Tarawih, this is actually in the fiqh books, mashallah. Tarawih is only counted as Tarawih. You do 20 rak'ats. Tarawih is 20 rak'ats. Tarawih is 20 rak'ats. Anything less than 20 rak'ats is called night prayers. So people pray 8 rak'ats in Ramadan. It's actually counted as night prayers. Tarawih is actually strictly 20 rak'ats. That is what we learn now in our fiqh books. But of course, because people are like, they're busy, they have things to do or whatsoever. So our scholars say, okay do 8. I do 8. But 8 is actually night prayers. It counts as extra night prayers. But if you want to get tarawih and strictly tarawih, then it's 20 rak'ats. Right, mashallah. And in fact, your 20 rak'ats is mu'akkadah. It is emphasized. 20 rak'ats emphasized in Ramadan. But of course, however many rak'ats we want to pray, they can pray. Because if they count it as night prayers, then it's night prayers. There was once I saw a video, I can't remember where, but there were some people who were somewhat or other debunking myths of Ramadan, which wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah, they were not debunking myths of Ramadan, but there were parts of the video, they were actually denying sunnahs. And sunnahs are not myths, sunnahs are sunnahs. To the point whereby there was a part whereby they were saying about no such thing as imsak. Right, saying there is imsak. It's something that is affirmed. Right, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to stop eating the amount of time it would take to read 50 ayats of the Quran before the coming of dawn. Right, he would stop eating. Right, the amount of time it would take to recite 50 ayat of the Quran, that's about 10 minutes, right, or 15 minutes. That's our imsak timing. You imsak, you stop eating about 15 minutes before the azan to ensure your fasting is full, so that you don't actually accidentally eat into the timing after Fajr, after the azan. So anyway, in this, I saw in the video that they were saying about, how many rak'ahs is Tarawih, 20 or 8, 20 or 8. And at the end of the video, they were saying, pray however much you want, it's just sunnah. Right? Well, if you much you want, it's called night prayers, it's not called tarawih. You get night prayers, good for you. Right? You pray 2 rakats, you get night prayers, good for you. Right? But tarawih, no. Tarawih is 20. Tarawih is 20. Right? So 8 tarawih is still called night prayers. It's still called night. It's strictly 20 rakats. Now, in the FK books lah. But of course, if you want to just pray night prayers, pray lah. Whatever happens. No, and it's tarawih is not compulsory in the first place. But if you want to say that you perform tarawih on a particular night, then that would mean you have prayed 20 rakats. Okay, then you're counted to have prayed tarawih. Okay. Duha prayer is sunnah to pray duha prayer, the mid-morning prayer, which is a minimum of 2 rakats, optimum 8 rakats, and a maximum of 12 rakats. You complete a pair of rakats with salam. You pray in 2 salah. You pray in 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It is actually said that for day prayers, for daytime prayers, the sunnah is to pray 4 in one go. Now, how you pray Zuhr and Asar? The sunnah is to pray 4 in one go. For night prayers, the sunnah is to pray them in pairs, in 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You can very well pray a prayer all the way through 8 rak'ats. It's up to you. Right? So if you want to pray like duha prayer 8 rak'ats all in one go, if one salams, you can. It's not wrong. Right? But the sunnah for day prayers is to actually pray them in fours. Right? In a set of 4, Right? But if you want to pray them in sets of 2 also can. Like how you know sunnah zuhur, I have to pray them in sets of 4. Right? Or you can do 2 and 2 if you want. Or sunnah asar, you can pray the entire sunnah in a set of 4 and with 1 salam, or you can pray 2 and 2 if you like. Like for me personally, I like doing them in sets of 4 because it makes me not lazy. If I pray in 2, then I salam, then I think to myself, then should I do 2 more? Tired. And then I might not do it. But if I do 4 in one go, already from the first takbir, I already program in my head, I'm doing 4. So there's no way of escaping this. I'm doing 4. So I have to do 4 and then I give salams after the 4. So for me, I prefer to do them all 4 in one go. So I don't actually give myself a chance, right, to whisper to myself, 2 enough lah. Like in a sense, if you have that problem like me lah, whereby the whisper comes and it's like, the 2 already. So for duha also, I personally do 4 in one go. Right? I'll just do 4 in one go. And then in the 4, I'll recite Surah Yasin, right? To break up the Surah Yasin over 4 rakats, right? So if you can, if you memorize Surah Yasin, right? But I like it doing that way. I don't like doing a salams in the center, right? Because it kind of feels that Allahu Alam, right? But there is a sunnah. Therefore, day prayers 4 in one go is a sunnah, and for night prayers to do them in pairs is a sunnah. Alright. It is sunnah to pray duha when the sun is quite high in the sky. That means not in midday, of course not, because that one will be already midday. Right? But it's sunnah to pray duha around 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's the sunnah time for you to pray duha. So just nice, how you have your break at 11 o'clock, right? So 11 o'clock, go for your break, you pray your duha. That is the optimum time to pray Salat Duha. However, for Salat Duha, you can pray any time from Ishraq until Zuhur. You can pray any time from Ishraq until Zuhur. Any time. So what time is Ishraq? Ishraq is the sun rises and then 17 to 18 minutes from the sunrise. And then you can pray Duha already if you want. But if you want, you can pray Ishraq first. Ishraq is a separate prayer from Duha. Shuruq, the prayer of Shuruq or Ishraq. It is a separate prayer from Duha. It's 2 rak'ahs done 17 minutes after the sun has risen. Okay, so right now the sun rises at 6:57 there. Right, so 17 minutes after 6:57 will be 7:15 around there. 7:15, if you want, if you're still, you can pray. Then pray 2 rak'ats. Pray 2 rak'ats Surah Ishraq. The one who does that is from the hadith. The one who prays subuh in congregation, in jama'ah, and then remains remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until Ishraq has come in, then they stand, then they pray 2 rak'ats, they get Hajj and Umrah tam. And they get Hajj and Umrah complete. And that is only if you actually spend the entire time from the point you pray subuh in jama'ah. So this is the first condition for subuh in jama'ah. Then the whole time you spend doing zikr, right, or doing your Quran or whatever ibadah. You can be on the move if you need to be on the move, but your tongue is continuously on zikr, right? And then until sunrise, you're still doing zikr. 15 minutes after sunrise, you pray so the first one is pray in jama'ah subuh, zikr all the way. Third one is 17 minutes after sunrise, you pray 2 rak'ats ishraq. If you do all these 3, then comes the hadith, you got Hajj and Umrah complete. Okay? Right? 3 things there. So it's not just like some people think that if I stay up and I do my zikr and I sleep after that. No, you're gonna do the 2 rak'ats. The 2 rak'ats at ishraq. Or some people think that I don't pray jama'ah. No, it has to be in jama'ah. And the full hadith has 3 conditions. Until before you ask it to say you got Hajj and Umrah complete. Now, right, so then you can pray duha from any time from that point in time, right, from ishraq time all the way until zuhur at any time. Right, so even you say, but what if the sun is overhead? Even if the sun is overhead, because duha prayer, the reason came before the prayer. Remember, remember you can pray this kind of prayers at any time. Right, there's no haram times for these prayers. Right, so even if the sun is right overhead, like now zuhur is 103 around there, zuhur 103. I'm not sure how accurate my clock is. My clock is 103. So let's say at 1 o'clock, you finish Majid Halid at 1 o'clock. Right, a few minutes more zuhur already. Right, you have not prayed duha. Can you pray duha? Yes. So, but it's a haram timing that the sun is overhead. Even so, because duha, the reason for duha came before the prayer. Right, so you can pray this kind of prayers at any time. And there's no haram time for this kind of prayers. So duha anytime until zuhur, you can pray duha. Okay. As for ishraq prayer, it is said that you are to pray it right at the 15-minute mark after sunrise, and it said that you are given half an hour. From that point, you're given at least about half an hour from sunrise, or so around there. Beyond that, there's no more ishraq. It's just duha. Okay. Tahajjud prayer. Tahajjud prayer is a sunnah prayer at night. It is an emphasized sunnah. It's sunnah mu'akkadah at night. Even if one can do a little, even you can do just 2 rak'ats. The night prayers are the best prayers after the fardu prayers. And night prayers are the best prayers after fardu prayers. We get ourselves to understand that night prayers are the best prayers after fardu prayers. And the last part of the night is the best time to offer tahajjud prayer. Last part of the night meaning the last 1/3 of the night before subuh. Right, so subuh right now is 5:40. Right, so at any point to offer this prayer from 4:30 or 4:40, 1 hour before subuh. At any point, that's the best time to offer it. Right, if you need to do zikr and whatsoever, you can offer it earlier. Right, if you like, or you can offer it later if you like. However, if someone knows that they will not wake up in the night, they just won't wake up. They try their best, and every night they keep trying to wake up in the night. They're not going to wake up until subuh. If someone knows that, then to not deny yourself of the benefits of the tahajjud, that you actually pray a few rak'ats after Isha. So after Isha, you pray Sunnah Isha, you pray at least 4 rak'ats. 4 rak'ats. This prayer you intend witr, right, in it, and then you intend hifzul iman, right, to protect your iman. And then you pray 3 after that, 3 witrs. Now all together you have 4 plus 3, 7 witr. You have 7 witr done already. So whether or not you wake up in the night, you have done already some night prayers. It's counted. You have done some night prayers. Of course, you should still try and struggle against yourself and get yourself to wake up in the night and perform your night prayers if you're not performing your night prayers. But to not deny yourself of the benefit of night prayer, do it after Isha. So at least you've done it. You've done some of it. Right? And at least, and if you wake up in the night, then bonus lah, get more. Right? Do more night prayers. If you've done 4 in the night, 4 plus 3, 7 earlier on. Then when you wake up in the middle of the night, then you have 4 more to go to make it 11, correct? Now, then you can pray other prayers if you want. Then you pray 4 more to make it 11. Or you now you pray 4 more to make it 11, and you pray 1 qada witr from a previous night. That's how you can do it live if you want to do it. Okay, tahiyatul masjid, the prayer of greeting the masjid is a sunnah for one who enters a masjid to greet the masjid by praying 2 rak'ahs each time he enters. One is no longer entitled to pray after sitting. So basically, after you have done something in the masjid, and there is no more sunnah of doing a tahiyatul masjid. If you sat for you to be able to put on your socks, right? So for example, you came to the masjid, you just took your wudu, and then now you want to pray tahiyatul masjid, but you have to put on your socks. If you are unable to balance yourself standing and putting on socks, so you sat to put on your socks, that does not you have not forfeited the tahiyatul masjid. You can stand up and pray tahiyatul masjid after that. You can. And what they mean by sitting is that you have sat down to rest. So once you have sat down to rest, then there is no more sunnah of tahiyatul masjid. But if you sat down to put on your socks, right, or to fix yourself, your awrat, right, for you to be able to pray in the masjid, or to pray the tahiyatul masjid, then that's perfectly fine. It does not forfeit your tahiyatul masjid. You can still pray tahiyatul masjid. Okay, right, so it's a sitting down of rest, but not a now of I want to put on my socks. MashaAllah. Right, so that was something I wondered, like when I was young, I used to wonder, if I come in, I want to wear my socks, then I want to sit down and wear my socks, right? Or or I need to put things down, and I to to prepare myself to perform the prayer, right? Then I cannot pray tahiyatul masjid after that. Then after I learned in fiqh, actually if you're sitting down to try and fix yourself, for you to pray, right, that's perfectly fine. It's okay. Especially if somebody is unable, right, to stand and do things while standing. If you're unable to do that, right, then you can sit down and you can fix yourself, and then you can get up and pray tahiyatul masjid. As long as your sitting was not a restful sitting, you're trying to rest, you're trying to balance. Inshallah. Okay, every single time you enter the masjid, every single time, any prayer that is prayed at the point of entering to the masjid counts as tahiyatul masjid. Any prayer. Right? So even if you're praying a wajib, you come to the masjid, the imam is really praying a wajib prayer, you go into the saf and you join the imam. In your prayer is already the reward of tahiyatul masjid. In the prayer. If you just took wudu and you came out and you saw the imam praying a wajib prayer, and you go right into the saf and you pray with the imam, you get tahiyatul masjid and sunat wudu straight away. Some scholars say automatic. Some scholars say you need to intend it. Right? So for me, personally, I always intend it. Just in case lah. You don't have to intend it, right? So you intend Zuhur, then you intend tahiyatul masjid and wudu. Right? So you get it all together in your fardu Zuhur. So you don't have to do another set after that, because you've done it already. Okay. Now I'm going to the next section. So you see in the book, whenever there's no Arabic, that means it's edited is additional in the English text. It's not in the Arabic text. So you see any part of the book whereby it's just Arabic, it is English there. It's just an additional commentary by the translator, right? But it's not part of the original Arabic text. Now, so he says here, فصل الذي يلزم فيه نية الإمامة أربع: الجمعة والمعادة والمنزورة جماعة والمتقدمة في المطر. نعم. Right, so section, the intention of being an imam is wajib in 4 conditions. So now you can ask the question, you mean saying that you are imam is not wajib? It's not actually. For a person to niyat imam is sunnah. If you don't niyat imam, their prayer is valid, but they don't get the reward of praying jama'ah. So if an imam prays, right, and the imam does not intend to be an imam, he doesn't say imaman lillahi ta'ala, there is no niyat of being imam, there's no intention of being imam. Someone comes in, prays jama'ah with this guy, prays jama'ah with the one who is praying. The ma'mum intends ma'mum. It's wajib to intend that you are ma'mum. Wajib, if you don't intend that you are ma'mum, then when you stand there waiting for the imam to move and you're idle, right, that makes your prayer nullified, because you have spent a span of time not doing anything at all in your prayer for no reason. But if you intend ma'mum, If you intend ma'mum, then now you have the status of being a ma'mum. So of course you stand there waiting for your imam, right? And that's not nullify your prayer because you're waiting for the imam to move. Okay? So for ma'mum, wajib to niat ma'mum. Ma'mum, wajib to niat. You must niat ma'mum. And you can niat ma'mum while you are praying. You can niat ma'mum while you are praying, or even after takbiratul ihram, you can niat to be ma'mum. So for example, takbiratul ihram, you like, I can focus on so many things. I'm just going to say the wajib. So you say, usalli farda zuhri in your takbir. Because you can't focus on anything else, you want to say this is a wajib. Okay, you can do that. So you Allahu Akbar, usalli farda zuhri. So now you've come into the prayer, you can just have it run through your heart, ma'muman. Right? Ma'muman lillahi ta'ala. You just have it come to your heart. While you're already in prayer. But you can go straight away, ma'muman, I'm being ma'mum. Lillahi ta'ala. At the same time, if you're praying and someone comes and prays in front of you, and then you see, there's a jama'ah going on, and you're already praying, you can, at that point in time, niat ma'mum to the imam. You can niat ma'mum while you are praying to the imam. You can do that. And from the point you intend ma'mum, you get the reward of jama'ah. You get the reward of jama'ah. Now, and then you can like try and, work your way to enter the saf. If you're quite far from the saf, then you move like 1 step, 2 steps, stop. 1 step, 2 steps, stop. You know how you can actually move if you don't go 3 movements consecutive. Right? So you can go 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. Until you reach the saf that you have niat ma'mum to. Now, but for the imam, for the case of the imam, it's not wajib on imams to niat that they're imam. But if they fail to niat that they're imam, then they have denied themselves the reward of jama'ah. So if let's say I'm praying with a group of women, and for some reason, I'm negligent, and in my takbir I say usalli farda zuhri arba raka'atin lillahi ta'ala, Allahu Akbar. Nowhere in my niyat I intended imam. I didn't intend imam at all in my niyat. My ma'mum all around me, all niat ma'mum. I have one person didn't niat imam. The imam didn't niat imam. And I pray Allahu Akbar, Allahu liman hamida. And the ma'mums are all following me. The entire time, if I didn't niat imam, my prayer valid, their jama'ah valid, I don't get the reward of jama'ah. I'm the only one. He gets zero, no reward jama'ah. As if I prayed by myself. But my prayer valid? Yes. Prayer valid. Right, nothing wrong with my prayer. Prayer valid, but no reward of jama'ah. I seriously I'm praying at that, and then halfway I think, did I niat imam? And I think to myself, did I niat imam? And I think to myself, did I niat imam? So then I can niat imaman. I can niat I am imam to the people who are praying behind me. So from the moment I niat imam, my reward begins to multiply. From the moment I niat imam. Okay, so if I forgot the first 2 rak'ah so that niat imam, my prayer valid. But it's just that no pahala lah. Your reward is that you're praying alone. Wasted, right? So you might say, and I'm going to mention about one more thing about niat imam. But I'll mention one more thing. So let's say for example, a masalah, an issue. Okay, let's say for example, imam praying here. Okay, then there is a jama'ah going on. Where's my pens? Okay, jama'ah going on. Okay. So you come in, this is you come in, join the jama'ah. Maybe you came in late. Okay, so you came in, imam dah 3rd rakaat. I'm going to finish ready. 3rd rakaat, 4th rakaat and finish. You came in at 3rd rakaat. Okay. Then after you, somebody else came in. Let me draw the person in green. Somebody else came in after you. So after this first blue people, the one who were there from the beginning, so after all of them, right, all of them have finished their prayers. So all of them finished their prayers. Okay. So they finish, right? I get up to pray my 3rd rakaat because I came in 3rd rakaat. So I did 1, 2 rakats, right? So I get up to do my 3rd rakaat. Okay, these people also, all of us got up to do our 3rd rakats because all of us came in late. At this point, because the imam has finished his prayer, right, I have no more jama'ah. You actually have no more jama'ah at this point because there is no more imam. The imam finished already, right? What I can do now, so if I continue praying the way I'm praying, and these people are praying the way they're praying, all of us, our third and fourth rakaat, the reward is like praying alone. All of us. And we only got jama'ah for 2 rakats. Of course, because we're not like those people who were there from the beginning, right? Those who were there from the beginning prayed 4 rakats with the imam. They all 4 rakats, they had the reward of jama'ah. All 4 rakats. Me, I came in at 3rd rakaat and 4th rakaat. So I got jama'ah for 3rd and 4th rakaat. And after I stand up to do my next to do 2 more rakats, do I get jama'ah for these 2 rakats? No, I'm not in jama'ah. I'm praying by myself. Correct. So half my prayer I get reward for jama'ah, half my prayer I get reward praying by myself. Right? Okay, if I say to myself, I want to get a reward for jama'ah, I don't want to pray by myself. And these people next to me who are praying anyway, right? What you can do, but only if the people know how to do it lah. If they all know how to do it, what you can do is that you can take a slight step forward. You can. You take a slight step forward, right? And you intend that now I am the imam. So if these people know what you're doing, they will straight away intend that they are ma'mum to you. Right? They can straight away intend they are ma'mum to you, and you can continue 2 more raka'ats in a jama'ah of your own. You can do that. Right? If let's say, because there are 3 of you, right? Technically, the center guy should be the one who should be imam. that one should be imam. So if you're praying in a row, and these people know the hukum, so you all learn Masjid Khalid, and then you all go to Masjid Khalid, so you've learned it from me already, so you know what to do. So you're all praying at the back row, you all came in late. Right, so now the whole class, all of you, like some of you were at the back row, you all came in late, you've heard this from Ustazah Farhanah already. You know about this. So let's say this person here puts her hand behind the person next to her and pushes the person forward a little bit to show imam. As woman, it's a bit forward. Right? So the imam of Masjid Khalid dah habis. She's already finished his prayer. Right? So now you're the woman on the side of the woman's side, right? And then you all have a few more rakats to do because you came in late. Right, so let's say the one in pink, for me, for example, I'm there. If I put my hand behind you and I push you forward, what I'm doing to you in prayer is that I'm making you imam. Okay, so don't do that also. You be imam. Right, but if let's say someone does it to you, they put their hand behind you and they gently push you forward, you're like, oh now I'm the imam. Imam lah, imam. Right, so if they say I did it to you, if I push you forward, right, so you've learned this from me already, You've already learned this from me, so you know what I'm doing. Okay, I push you forward. That means right now I have done my niyat of makmum to you. I done niyat makmum to you already. So now you kena niyat imam. Okay, and then if you see that whatever you do I follow, then you're like, okay, they confirm she already niyat makmum to me. Right, this to us to get the jama'ah continuous for us, our reward till the end of the prayer, so you don't lose out in the reward for jama'ah. But most of the time, if I know the people around me know what I'm doing, I will take a step forward. Take a step forward. So if you see me doing that, if you're praying in the same jama'ah in Masjid Khalid, the Masjid open again, inshallah, and then we are praying Zuhur, right? After class, praying Zuhur. Maybe we all came in late to the jama'ah. Ustaz dah start already, and Ustaz dah finish already his Zuhur. We have a few more rakats to go. If you all see me as a saf of those who are mazbuq, all the mazbuq people in the same saf, right? If you see me step forward and I begin to raise my voice with my takbirs, right? Then you know straight away I have intended myself to be imam, and you all makmum to me. You all niyat makmum to me. Okay, then we all get the reward of jama'ah for our remaining rakats. Okay, know what to do, This you can only do if the makmum not blur. If the makmum blur, everybody blur, then you stand in front, you move forward, Ya Allah, nobody's following you. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Saying, I'm being imam, why you all don't know? Right, so usually, like Darul Zahra, they'll do it. Darul Zahra is a community of students of knowledge. So they know the rulings, mashallah. So if someone stands forward and does 2 more raka'ats, everybody else will jama'ah to that person. All the mazbuq people, the mazbuqin, all the mazbuqin will jama'ah to that person who step forward. Okay, now you all know, Okay, so next time, if I step forward and I start to takbir loudly and I'm doing a few more rakats, all those who mazbuq, Ustazah is doing, is being imam to herself. Or if I push you forward, I don't look at imam, I just push forward. Then like, now you're like, what, me? Then you push the next person forward. You try and pass the imam. I don't, jangan main lah masyaAllah. Okay, so now you all know how to do, what to do. Alhamdulillah. I like to teach things because then I know what to do. Then I know I can do it with people. A majlis, I can't remember when, a few years ago. And we were all late. We came in late. So they already began praying Maghrib. So I prayed at the staff at the back. And I had a few students with me, whom I have taught this to already. Right, so in the staff at the back, so after the imam, the salams, I got up and I raised my voice in takbir. Allahu Akbar. The imam dah habis. Imam has finished his prayer already. I raised my voice in takbir. Allahu Akbar, get up. And then I stepped forward one step. Straight away, my students knew what I was doing. So they all followed me after that. So then we prayed 2 more rakats to complete our prayer. And so everybody got jama'ah for all 3 rakats of Maghrib. Instead of getting jama'ah for 1 rakat only, and then 2 rakats, like reward of 1 person, might as well do make the whole thing jama'ah, since you're all there praying, right? Might as well. Alright. Okay. So anyway, it is compulsory for the imam to niyat imam, compulsory wajib, for 4 prayers. For 4 different prayers. And what are they? So let me at point note number 74. The intention of being imam is compulsory upon the imam during the takbiratul ihram. For these 4 prayers, for specifically these 4 prayers, the niyat of being imam is wajib while the imam is doing the takbiratul ihram. As for the ma'mum, the follower, ma'mum, the niyat of being a ma'mum is wajib if he intends to follow the imam even in the middle of the prayer, besides in these 4 conditions in which it is wajib for him to intend being a ma'mum from the takbiratul ihram. So for these 4 prayers, specifically these 4 prayers, niyat imam and niyat ma'mum is wajib during takbir. Okay? I'll repeat. For these 4 prayers, niyat imam and niyat ma'mum is wajib during takbir. For these 4 prayers only. Okay, wajib. And besides that, sunnah. Okay? So how do I intend? I said, usalli farda zuhri. If I do my takbir, Allahu Akbar. In my heart, usalli farda zuhri imaman. So I've said all the wajibs. When I say arba rakaat, all that is all sunnah. Tamam? As a ma'mum, I will say, usalli farda zuhri ma'muman. Tamam? Usalli farda zuhri ma'muman. Lillahi ta'ala. Tamam? Okay. It is wajib for the ma'mum to niyat ma'mum the moment he wants to follow the imam. As we mentioned earlier. As long as you're intending to follow the imam, you need to niyat ma'mum already. If you don't niyat ma'mum and there were gaps in your prayer whereby you're not doing anything, you're idle, waiting for the imam, that would render your prayer to be nullified because you did not intend to be ma'mum. So you're just waiting around. Technically, you're just waiting around in your prayer, not doing anything. That nullifies the prayer. Gaps of time in the prayer whereby you're not doing anything, you're not reading anything, you're not reciting anything, you're not doing anything. If you have these gaps in your prayer, it nullifies the prayer. Your prayer is nullified. But if you intend to be a ma'mum to somebody, then you can have all these gaps because you're waiting for the imam to move. You're waiting for the imam, you're waiting for the imam to finish his recitation, and you're listening to the recitation. So your prayer is not invalid lah. And so at any point in the prayer for the ma'mum, the moment you intend to the moment you want to follow the imam, you need to intend in yourself, I am a ma'mum. You can say in English, you can say whatever language, because in your heart. You say, I am a ma'mum, ma'muman. Or you say ma'muman, straight away. And straight away you are a ma'mum to the imam. Okay. Okay, so let me just, this is one question here. What's the question? What happens if you intend ma'mum to someone who is praying, thinking that he is the imam, but he's actually not? Right? So you ma'mum to somebody, right? And the person doesn't know he's the imam, right? You think that he's the imam, but he's not the imam. Your jama'ah is sah. Your jama'ah is valid. But on condition that the one that you are doing jama'ah to, that guy who you think is the imam, on condition he's not currently a ma'mum. He cannot be currently a ma'mum, right? Right. So if he's currently a ma'mum, he cannot be ma'mum to a ma'mum. You can't ma'mum to a ma'mum, right? You need to, so for example, someone's praying by themselves. Praying by themselves. Or maybe there were a group who were praying. And for some reason, they're all not praying in Jama'ah. They're all praying by themselves. Right? So you came in, and they're all praying Sunnah Zuhur, for example. They're all praying Sunnah Zuhur. It seemed like they were in sync. Right? But they're all praying Sunnah Zuhur. So you came in, they look like they're in sync. They're like, oh, they're praying Zuhur already. Okay lah, I join in. So you join in. The Jama'ah, assuming the one in the center is the Imam, whereas everybody's praying Sunnah by themselves. But they look as if they're praying together. So you join in the Jama'ah, thinking they're praying Jama'ah, and then you pray, you already niyat Fardu Zuhur, and you already, ma'mum to the person in the center. And then, after that you realize you're praying Sunnah. Right? Your Jama'ah is counted. And you pray Zuhur already. Khalas. So when they set up for Zuhur, they're like, alamak, I pray Zuhur already. Just now I thought you were praying Zuhur, and you were praying Sunnah Zuhur pula, and then I join you all anyway. Subhanallah. Sah. It's just that the Imam didn't get any reward because they must pray Sunnah Zuhur anyway. He's not praying Fardu Zuhur. Now, as long as you don't imamkan somebody who is currently a ma'mum. You cannot do that. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Let me just continue with this page, and we will take a short break before taking our Arabic. Okay. So here the first thing is the Friday prayer. Right? So basically all these four prayers, the reason why intention for Imam and Ma'mum is wajib, is compulsory for these four situations, is because these four prayers can only be done in Jama'ah. They are not valid if they are not done in Jama'ah. These prayers can only ever be done in Jama'ah. Right? That's why to intend Imam and Ma'mum is wajib at the form of Takbiratul Ihram. So the Friday prayer, the first one is Jum'ah, right? The Friday prayer. If the Imam leaves out of the intention of being Imam, then Takbiratul Ihram, his prayer is not valid. Right? So Friday prayer can only be done in Jama'ah. Number two, to repeat a fard or nafil prayer in its time, hoping for reward. Okay, this is called, you see the Arabic here, it is called i'adah. Al-mu'adah, al-i'adah. I'adah is a repeated prayer. Right? What are repeated prayers? Right, so let me just look at number 76 here. To repeat a fardu prayer that was performed in its time, or a sunnah prayer, which was sunnah to perform in Jama'ah, except for witr in the month of Ramadan, because you cannot repeat witr in the month of Ramadan, and to repeat them once, both on their time with Jama'ah in the entire prayer, hoping for the reward of Jama'ah. Right, so basically, situation, you prayed Zuhur at home by yourself. So you pray Zuhur at home by yourself, you go to a majlis. You come to the majlis, you find, there's a Jama'ah here. And they're all praying Zuhur. You already prayed Zuhur, but you prayed it by yourself. What can you do now? You can pray i'adah. What is i'adah? I'adah is I'm repeating my prayer. Why are you repeating your prayer? Because I prayed earlier on without Jama'ah. And now there's a Jama'ah. It's sunnah for you to pray again because now got Jama'ah. Jama'ah is mu'akkadah. Remember that to pray salat in Jama'ah is emphasize. Rasulullah SAW never prayed a single fardu prayer in his life, not in Jama'ah. Not a single fardu prayer he prayed in his entire life. From the point he received revelation to the end of his life, every prayer he prayed was in Jama'ah. The first prayer being prayed behind Jibril alayhi salam, Jibril Imam or Ma'mum. Then thereafter he prayed with the Khadijah, he prayed with the companions, the Sahaba, until the end of his life when he was very sick. He would pray his prayer with Sayyidina Aisha. And he never prayed a single fardu prayer by himself ever. Rasulullah SAW. It's like Jama'ah is mu'akkadah, right? You should, as far as you can, look for Jama'ah. Feel weird if you have to pray by yourself. And always look for Jama'ah for fardu prayer. So if someone had prayed at home first and they came to the masjid and they say, they say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, there is a Jama'ah going on at the masjid. Right? So, sunnah for that person to stand in the Jama'ah and pray. And that is called i'adah. They are repeating the prayer that was already valid in the first place. It's a valid prayer. They're not doing qada. They're doing i'adah. If you have qada, then niyat qada. Don't niyat i'adah. Niyat qada. Okay? And then even if you have already prayed the prayer in Jama'ah, right? But you find a more superior jama'ah. What does it mean? So you pray at home. For example, I pray with my husband. Two of us pray at home. Right? Two people in the jama'ah. And then I go to masjid. I have to teach. Now I see, there's a group of people here praying together, and there's a lot of them. The more people there are in the jama'ah, the more superior the jama'ah. Okay? A larger jama'ah is more superior to a smaller jama'ah. Right? So now I come down and, there's a big group here praying jama'ah. So I'm going to pray jama'ah here. Okay. Another way whereby the jama'ah is more superior is that the person leading the jama'ah is someone of standing in the religion, and not in society, in the religion. So for example, I come to the masjid and I say, Habib is praying, is being imam lah. You know, Habib is here and Habib is doing imam. And it happened to me before. I was at home, I prayed with my husband, I had 2 rak'ats, and then I went to the Zahra. And then I found that Habib Omar had come to the Zahra and he was leading the Asar prayer in the Zahra. Right? So what else do you do, right? You don't even think. You go and join the Asar prayer straight away. You join. I said, but I already pray Asar. Yes, pray I'adah. Pray I'adah, or you can do Qada, whichever you need to do, whether it's Qada or I'adah, do one of them. Right? But if you have somebody of standing being the imam, someone like a wali or an alim, a sheikh, you know, and you've already prayed, don't say, I'm not praying, we're not praying. Pray already. No, pray again and get the reward. And why are you denying yourself of the reward if you're just going to sit there waiting around? Go and pray again. You know, subhanAllah. So that's why i'adah, right? It can only be done if there is a superior jama'ah that is going on. Similarly, if I have prayed already in a jama'ah, right? I've already prayed in a jama'ah, and then someone comes in late. One person comes in late, and nobody there to pray with that person. And there's no jama'ah for that person. It's sunnah for me to get up and pray jama'ah with this person. Okay? It's sunnah for me to do so. And I'm going to niyat i'adah. I'm going to intend I'm doing a repeated prayer. Or qada, up to you. Up to you. Okay? So in doing this, in a hadith, there was once some prayer in the masjid, and after they finished praying, a man came in, and then he realized that he missed the entire jama'ah. So he looked sad, because he missed the whole jama'ah. And then sometimes to this companion and said, which of you will give charity to this person? And they said, how do we give charity, Ya Rasulullah? And he said, pray with him. That's how you give charity to him. Pray with him. Because then it will allow for him to have 27 times at least reward, right, in praying in jama'ah. So just to and you can do it for sunnah prayers that are to be done in jama'ah. So for example, what's the example of sunnah prayer to be done in jama'ah? Tarawih. So for example, if someone had prayed tarawih by themselves at home, alone, right, and then they go to the masjid and they say, there's tarawih going on here, right? So might as well pray tarawih, right? You might as well pray tarawih there. Right? So you can do a repetition of the sunnah prayer. In Tarim, they'll pray tarawih in one masjid. They go to another masjid, they pray tarawih a bit later. They pray tarawih there as well. Then they go to another masjid, they pray tarawih in the middle of the night, and they go pray tarawih there as well. They pray like 3 tarawihs in one night. And so they're not looking at 20 rakats, looking at 60 rakats of tarawih praying. Because tarawih takes about an hour and a half. You can do several tarawihs in the night if you're going to stay up the entire night lah. MashaAllah. If you want to lah. MashaAllah. Okay, so and then the last one, number 3, a vow prayer that is to be performed in congregation. So somebody were to say, I swear by Allah, and they make a vow. I swear by Allah, I will pray all of my Isha prayers in Jama'ah from now on. If they do that, So if they nazar, if they make a vow, they're going to pray a prayer in Jama'ah, they must pray the prayer in Jama'ah. They must. And the Jama'ah is wajib on them. So the Jama'ah becomes wajib on them. Now they have to niyat imam and the imam must niyat imam and the ma'mum must niyat ma'mum if they have made a vow. So they made something that was originally sunnah into wajib by making a vow, right, over it. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, prayer offered before it's time due to rain. Okay, this one is a jamat taqdim. Okay, number 4 is actually is one of the ways of jamak taqdim, which has conditions. Jama' taqdim, that means bring forward. Now, you can bring a prayer forward only when you are traveling or in the situation because of heavy downpour. Heavy downpour. So, for example, some people are in the masjid, right? They are praying Zuhr, and then it's heavily raining outside. If they go home now, right, high chances they will not come back to the masjid to pray Asar Jama'ah. High chances, because it's super heavy rain. It's difficult to walk in that rain. Right? So the imam knows that if people were to go home right now, they would not come back to the masjid for Asar, or they pray Maghrib, and the imam knows that if they were to go home right now after Maghrib, the high chances they will not come back for Isha, right, to pray Jama'ah in the masjid. So what the imam can do, right, is that the imam can now do a Jama'. He can Jama' the later prayer to the earlier prayer. It means we can bring forward Asar into Zuhur time. It's valid. And he can bring Isha forward to Maghrib time, but only because there is heavy downpour that would result in people not coming back to the masjid for the Jama'ah of Asar or Isha. Understand, eh? And it's only because of the heavy downpour. Now, right, so and then there's a few conditions about this heavy downpour. Let me just go into the footnotes. Right, number 77, if a person leaves out the intention of being imam during takbir, his prayer alone is valid, right? But he would be sinful for the one who vowed to pray in Jama'ah. Right, so he does not intend, imam or ma'mum, right? In that situation, his salat sah is valid, but he's sinful because he failed to fulfill his vow. Number 78, a group of people who are gathered because of rain and they perform Jama' taqdim. If the imam left out the intention of being an imam, the prayer would not be valid, right? Or his prayer would not be valid. Okay, so you need to, so the only reason why they're doing taqdim or why they're bringing forward their prayer is because they want Jama'ah. And that's why they're bringing forward their prayer. Because they want Jama'ah in the masjid. They know if they go home, the high chances they will not come back for Jama'ah. And so because they want Jama'ah in the masjid, then they're allowed to actually taqdim. And this is on the condition, right, that the rain, first and foremost, heavy rain. It has to be heavy rain, whereby it's difficult to actually walk around in this rain. If you've ever gone through this kind of rain, whereby there's going to be flooding, there's going to be really areas of really heavy, like slippery roads, slippery soil, sand. It's difficult to walk in this kind of rain. In Singapore, it has happened. It's hard to drive. You're trying to drive also, you can't see properly in front of you, right? In Tarim, it happens every now and then. Heavy rain that will lead to several areas being completely flooded. And then even if you walk on the non-flooded areas, the soil is so soft that you will sink into the sand. You cannot walk. It's like quicksand. All around because it's desert. Right? So those quicksands will form. Right? So you cannot get to the masjid. Right? In fact, it's dangerous to try and get out of the house in the kind of heavy rainfall. You might be stranded on one end because of the heavy rainfall. So in that situation, if the imam knows, so at the point of the imam wanting to pray, to bring forward the prayer, it must be raining, right? And it must continue raining. It must be raining. And at the point the imam finishes the prayer, it must still be raining. Okay? Right? So that is for the one who wants to bring forward. But then, basically, if an imam is doing that, the imam needs to be knowledgeable about this. He can't just anyhow, bring forward the prayer and they have no idea of the conditions of doing a prayer earlier because of rain. Right? So the imam doesn't know and she shouldn't be doing it in the first place because he should have knowledge about it. Okay, questions. Okay, the first question here is, how do we let one know that you want to be a ma'mum? You tap the shoulder. Yes, you do. You tap the shoulder. If it's for a male, just tap the cloth lah. Right? It's not doesn't matter your wudu. Your wudu is only when skin to skin. Tap the cloth. Right? Or you can just kind of make your presence known, right? By standing behind the imam, right? And then if they can sense you're following them, right? Or you can niyat loudly, right? Nawaitu, you can say loudly. Salli farda zuhri arba'a raka'atin adaan ma'muman lillahi ta'ala. So the imam can hear you say ma'muman. Right? So of course, but if you tap the shoulder, no problem. Usalli, okay, you put the word i'ada at the back. The second question is, how do I intend i'ada? I say usalli farda zuhri i'adatan. Okay, usalli farda zuhri i'adatan. I'm doing i'ada. Or if you've not done qada'an. Right, so I would recommend you to say qada if you've not done qada. Right, so may as well do qada of your previous prayers, then to do i'ada. For jama'ah that is very big. And then you must say ma'muman. To say i'ada is not wajib. To say i'ada or qada is not wajib. It will fall as whatever it falls as. Right? So even if your first prayer was not valid, it will fall as a wajib prayer. Right? But to say jama'atan, that wajib. And so say usalli farda zuhri jama'atan or ma'muman, right? Then there is valid. If the jama'ah is very big, you can intend ma'mum to whoever is the imam without knowing who it is. Yes, you just intend ma'muman. You don't have to say ma'muman to so and so. You don't have to say that. You say ma'muman and just pray with the jama'ah. And you just say ma'muman to the imam in front. You don't have to say that. Can someone praying qada have a ma'mum? Yes. Someone praying qada can have a ma'mum. Even if you're praying sunnah, you can have a ma'mum also. It's just that the scholars differ that if you're praying sunnah and someone comes and becomes an ma'mum to you, is there a jama'ah in the first place? Because there is no sunnah or jama'ah for a sunnah prayer. Right? They'll say the jama'ah is valid without reward of jama'ah. This is kind of things. Okay, tamam. Okay, alhamdulillah. So we have finished that section. So next time now, I'm going to go through the shurut of Qudwa Ahada Ashara. And this is the specialty of Safinah, the ship of salvation. The specialty of the ship of salvation is the rulings of prayer and the rulings of jama'ah in prayer. Right? So and the scholars will say, if you learn Safinah, learn it again and again and again and again and again. Because so many conditions in here that you will not find in any other books. MashaAllah. Okay, we'll take a short break, maybe 3 minutes break, and we'll continue inshallah with our Arabic in a while. Barakallahu fikum. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi